Hey, buddy, got a light?
Vermin Man creature was described in the script, the first script I ever read. There was a fight between Keanu and this demon who resolved himself by actually gathering together snakes and rats and bugs of all sorts and forming himself into a human-like creature. And the sequence just struck my imagination, and everybody who read the script said, oh, we want to do Vermin Man, we want to do Vermin Man.
Seeing the artwork, the drawings were absolutely gorgeous and really set a very high bar for us to meet.
We're all blown away. It was amazing. It's like, dude. And immediately we're like, cool, can't wait to get going on this.
But oddly enough, there was a really big struggle to keep Vermin Man in the movie.
It was one of these sequences that I was just fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting for. It seemed to be the one, when we were having all of our budget issues in prep, it seemed to be the one that, they always wanted to push to the end of the schedule in case I ran over.
Vermin Man is not inexpensive, and because it was a fight scenes can be cut out of movies, and movies can be finished without fight scenes, and generally the audience would never know, and the studio knew that. So at the outset, Vermin Man was on the chopping block.
But it was kind of like, okay, well, why don't you guys test it and see where you get to, and we'll kind of reevaluate.
Francis wasn't sure exactly how well this guy was going to come together because it was a pretty out there concept, and would he look real enough, and didn't want him to be very cartoony.
So we started doing our testing and putting the systems together and getting a look for him in 3D.
The technical challenges were pretty clear. Vermin Man is made out of maybe 20 different kinds of bugs, rats, snakes, spiders, crabs. There's a bird in there.
We had these great conceptual layouts that characterized the guy as a sort of force or a will holding together these bugs. He wasn't that defined. He might, come apart a little.
Each animal has to have its own characteristics, in addition to contributing to the characteristics of one larger creature. So part of the problem is, how do you convey the anger, the rage, and the meanness of the Vermin Man character, but still make something as harmless appearing as a beetle, still do beetle-like things?
So we had to find that balance, and especially with the facial animation, trying to get the expressions, but given enough looseness so that it feels like it's a swarm of bugs that are emoting. You can capture in a drawing that one moment in time where all the bugs are in just the right place to form the face so that it looks like the Vermin Man from the artwork. But all of these things are moving to different places.
With computer graphic characters, you can have a cockroach crawl right through a snake. Well, that would not be real. The cockroach has to crawl over the snake while the snake is moving and keep his footing and cast shadows and highlights and have all the right kind of lighting. At the same time, keeping conformation as a human being and trying to keep a face that can actually do a performance.
We spent almost a full year pulling that together from the initial conceptual stages of getting the individual creatures to actually getting them now to all perform in concert.
And it was difficult. There was a lot of code to be written. He had to wear a coat, and so I said, well, we should make the coat out of a swarm of bugs. How about termites? And that just came because I had just found a swarm of termites at my home, which was always an exciting inspiration. We had to have a sort of monolithic feel to the coat. It couldn't feel like the rest of him and be as chaotic and broken up, because he did have to be able to walk down the street and sort of hide his appearance as if he were a homeless person.
A cloth simulation would do what physically would happen. You could simulate how a cloth would behave and flow back. But the bugs would get agitated. They might fly off and come back and settle back in with a little bit of a lag. So working out that relationship of physics to performance was an interesting challenge. Getting all of that to work together has been an interesting blend of creative challenges, getting the performances to read right, and of technical challenges of getting all of these components to actually work together.
So we're out there at this gas station at night, and we start out, and we've got the guy in the Vermin Man suit.
Ready?
Yes.
But that really is only for reference.
It's actually a lot of fun. It's the only challenge is just kind of staying oriented when I'm in this thing, because I can basically just see through a pinhole. But aside from that, it's fun. It's kind of cool, you know?
Doing all right? Everything good?
Well, good.
Okay, I think you're done.
All right, man, thank you.
One of the great things about having somebody actually go through the performance with Keanu is Keanu got a sense for eye line and choreography.
Action! Go.
And it also gave us a reference for what that would look like, because we would shoot even those test passes on film. And then we would always do a version with the Vermin Man suit guy, and then we would take him out and Keanu would actually mime the same performance.
It was just Keanu doing the whole thing by himself, fighting with the air. When our animators got to it and blocked in a CG character fighting with Keanu up against nothing, he did some really cool things.
Action!
Keanu Reeves is actually responding with a real sense of weight and resistance in the performance. And in that regard, you know, Keanu was sort of directing what Vermin Man was going to be doing at any particular moment.
And then, of course, we finished the 9 or 10 shots of Vermin Man. That's all we had money for. And that worked so successfully, but it wasn't really enough. It wasn't big enough.
When you would see it in the cut, it just kind of laid there. It was just, you know, it had such great possibilities, and it was just so pared down to just be able to do it that it just fell flat.
We're out here trying to add to the Vermin Man scene. Seeing how he came together, I sort of saw more opportunities to play with him.
So now there's additional 13 visual effects shots, kind of opened up the scale, a little bit more dramatic. Keanu is going to fight the Vermin Man into the street, so we're getting ready to shoot some kind of like in the street type shots.
Just missing him. That's our first CG car.
We have some challenges because as Keanu runs out into the traffic, we obviously can't risk Keanu's life, and we want traffic to look like it's moving quickly. So we're building CG cars which will drive by Keanu in between his dodges, so that he looks like he's in jeopardy when he's not.
Because it would be nice if there's one CG car that's like, move, just misses him. He's starting to go down, and maybe there's one that's already there. Which
The diver one, the one that is our second CG car.
Yeah. The original sequence was a little too easy for Constantine to get through, so I wanted to make it a bigger moment. It's a big sort of action sequence in the first third of the movie, and I wanted Constantine to work a little harder. I wanted him to be a little smarter, and I also wanted to get a little bit more out of the character that we created of Vermin Man. Keanu, that was great.
We're actually shooting a lot of the close-ups, a lot of pretty wild shots, some pretty interesting 360 camera moves. That'll be kind of tricky, and a lot of it's kind of a cat and mouse chase at this point. So the Vermin Man will form and then kind of disappear and then reform. Over here, he's there, he's over there. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
I played this all night.
Your first time through, you have to be spot on every day for 90 days, and then you've got your footage and you have to cut your film. You sit down and you have the, wow, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. And we luckily have the opportunity to come back and, I got to put a little list together of things that I wanted to change, things I wasn't happy with, extra things that I wanted to do, and the studio was great enough to let us come back and do that. And so I think it's a fantastic luxury, actually, to be able to sit back, cut the film, see what you need, and be able to pick that stuff up. I'm very excited. I'm especially happy now that we get to sort of polish it up a little bit. We turned it into a real scene.